Hello, I am super excited to be able to come on here today. It's been a little while, but we are going to get some things going today. My voice is kind of gone because it's been a big, long morning already, and here we are in the afternoon, but we have got some things to talk about today, so I'm pretty excited to get going here. Let's have a conversation about what it looks like to use a line of credit. Now, I know that we talk about the lines of credit every single day, and it's super important that we understand how to use the line of credit, because if you're using the line of credit correctly, then you're going to make lots and lots of progress on debt elimination. So I have a worksheet that I want to work through today. But I also want to talk about some things that I get through the mail. I'm always getting the loans, those loan offers in the mail. This one right here is a $47,000 loan that they want to give me. It says their rate is as low as 3.52%. I somehow doubt that, but let's just see what kind of offer they're making, because you all need to look over these too. When you get these loans in the mail and you think, oh my gosh, that is such a great deal. Let's see what it actually says. Oh, the first thing it actually says is on the front, it says rate as low as 3.52%. But then when you read on in here, it says that it's could be up to 24.99%. Right? Okay. So I think that right there just threw me off because I'm like, yuck. What else does it say here? The loan amount ranges from 2,000 to 200,000. It's a pre-approval. So I just wonder, it doesn't give any details about what this one would look like if, oh my gosh, funded within 48 hours. Well, I think that's our answer right there to this one. I had another one. What did I do with the other one? I love looking. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Oh, this is the good one. This is the one I got from somebody wanting me to get a mortgage. Oh my gosh, just think you can get up to a 0.75% rate discount if you apply by June the 8th, 2025. Limited time offer. Let's see. Oh, and you're already pre-qualified for a home equity line of credit. Well, let's see what kind of rate they're talking about here. 8.65, which is prime plus 1.15%. What else has it got? Oh, you could get an answer within, it doesn't say when, but you can get the offer with no impact to your credit score. Oh, the answer in as little as 2 weeks. No application fees, closing costs or origination fees. Says it's a trusted lender, but it doesn't say who. Let's see what else it's talking. A lock in, a fixed rate. I'm not a fixed rate fan. That's okay. What else is it saying here? Variable. Okay, so it's talking about a variable rate down here. When I see these offers come through the mail, they are pretty exciting because they always have something that makes you gasp. And this one has fees to do transfers. If you're looking at a line of credit, you don't want to necessarily have a line that's going to charge you fees, because why? There's lines of credit out there, most of them do not charge you fees. So it's super important that you watch out for fees. And for goodness sake, if you get that refinance paper that says, if you'll refinance, we're going to give you a 0.75% discount rate. 0.75%. Do you know what a joke that is when you're talking about a loan such as a mortgage? That's a joke, because 0.75%, if you're refinancing your mortgage into this discounted rate of 0.75%, do you realize that they're doing that just so that you'll reset everything, and now you're going to get to pay all of that interest that you already paid? You get to pay it again. What does that mean? Let's talk about that. So the amortization schedule, and we've talked about that a lot on the channel. Okay, so if you have a mortgage payment of $1,000 per month, this is a schedule, meaning this is scheduled for you to make these payments of $1,000 per month. Okay, so if you're in a traditional mortgage, you're talking about 30 years at $1,000 a month. So what happens in your first month? So month one, you pay $1,000. Wow. So that means if I have a $300,000 mortgage balance and I pay $1,000 in a payment, does that mean that my balance is now $299,000? Can I get an answer? Can I get an answer? Absolutely not. No, no. This is not real. This is fake. I had a guy, I was talking to him a couple of days ago, and he said, I bought a motorcycle, and I thought, hey, I've been making payments on this thing for 2.5 years. I'll bet it's almost paid off. And when he went to buy his next motorcycle, they were going to do the payoff, right? Because, you're trading in one bike for another. And when he saw that he was not even nowhere near the payoff on the motorcycle, even though he had religiously made those $250 payments for 2.5 years, the balance was about the same as when he bought the bike. Why? Because of this schedule right here, this whatever they put you on, whether it's a car loan, a personal loan, a second mortgage, God forbid, a first mortgage, whatever, your schedule is set up already to take the interest first. Okay, so you have to be super, super wise about what it is they're doing when you are set up in an amortization schedule. So, no, this is a lie from the devil. Okay, so your $1,000 payment does not go to the balance. What does happen though? Well, if you get super lucky, you might get $100 towards the principal, and then $900 would maybe go to interest. Okay, so what does this mean when I say 100 towards the principal, 900 towards the interest? Well, you make your $1,000 payment, and you've been a good little boy or a girl because you made your payment on time. What happened? When you have the principal payment being $100, oh my goodness, is this what I think it is? Because this is your principal balance, right? This is the actual amount that you borrowed. This is your $1,000 payment. But when you go in and you look at what $1,000 did for you on paying off your home or your loan, you're going to notice that only the principal amount actually came off of the balance. That hurt, didn't it? That hurt. So you actually owe $299,900, even though you made a $1,000 payment. Now, you may or may not know this. I did not know this is the way loans worked. So you may or may not know this. Let's go one step further. What if I needed $100 tomorrow and I made my mortgage payment today and I knew only $100 of my 1,000 actually came off of the balance that I owe? Can I go back in and say, hey, bank, you know what? My little girl has a movie night that she would like to have this weekend. Can I get that $100 that I paid into my principal here? Can I pull that back out and use that for our movie night? What are they going to say? Are you crazy? No? Oh, okay. So that's stuck. This $1,000 is stuck in this mortgage forever. You had $100 of it apply to this balance. Where did the $900 go? Where did the other $900 go? I don't know. I just know that I don't have access to it anymore. I just know that you wouldn't have access to it anymore. So where did the $900 go? Interest. Interest. Now, for you guys who think you have a spending problem, you know, I'm sure you've heard some gurus on YouTube that have told you, hey, you have a spending problem. If you would get frugal and if you would stop spending your money on all this junk that you have to have every month, you would have money to pay off your bills. How many of us have heard that? I've heard that. Have you heard that if you didn't spend your extra money, you could pay off your bills? Yeah, we've all probably heard that. If we've talked to anybody or if we've listened to anybody on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. What would happen if you had the $900 and you weren't giving it away to the bank or whoever takes this 900 in interest? Would you be broke anymore? Would you be hurting for $50 to take your kids to the movies? Would you? Okay, let's take it a step further. If let's forget the mortgage because that's really, really big. Let's talk about credit card. Okay, so you have a credit card. They are a simple interest product. We like them. They're okay, but some of you guys are letting balances sit on the credit cards and they're just rolling over, charging you more interest. Okay, that's okay. We just haven't learned how to use the credit card. So let's imagine that you have a $5,000 credit card balance. You have a 28% interest. And let's just do some numbers here. So 5,000 times 28%. Do it with me so that you'll understand how the interest on the credit cards work. So 5,000 times 28% equals $1,400. All right. This is for the whole year. This is not for a month. This is for a year. Okay. Now let's divide this by 12 to see what we're probably going to average in interest. So $116.66. Okay. Now let's go back to that scenario that your kids are like, hey, Mom, can we have a date night? Can we have some fun time where we go out and, spend a night, getting McDonald's and going to a movie? And you're like, huh, I just can't afford that. I just, it's a really short month. I missed a couple of hours at work, so it made my paycheck less and I can't afford that. Oh, really, Mom? What happened if you didn't have to throw away this $116 that you throw away in interest this month? What if you had that? Because see, the card, if you do a 1% on 5,050, so the card amount that you had to pay was probably more like $166.66. This $50 is a 1% that sometimes they charge more or less depending on the credit card company. Meaning that this amount right here, you had to spend on paying to the credit card. And you know what? You got about $50 applied to this $5,000 principal balance. Did you all hear what I said? $50 went to actually pay down your balance. So now you owe $4,950. No, you didn't get this whole $166 applied. By the time they take the interest out, which is $116, you have only actually knocked this down by $50. But if you had the interest, wouldn't that pay for a movie night for you and your kids? $116. So how do we correct this if we are throwing away so much interest and it's stealing the money that we could be using to do these things that we want to do with our families? How do we prevent this from happening? Well, you learn what the bank tools do for you, and you learn how to use them, and then you get excited, and then you run around the room because you're like, oh my goodness, guess what? We have money to do that. Of course we have money to do that. Mom knows how to use the bank. Dad knows how to use the bank. So I don't like when I hear gurus say, hey, you need to back up on your spending. You need to get frugal so that, you can start applying every dime you have to paying off your debt. And you know what? Go ahead and get you a second job. Let's go ahead and grab that second job. And, after we get off the second job, let's go get a job delivering pizzas. And let's just really make that cash come in. And then we're going to pay off the debt. Who wants to live that way? It's not me. It's not me. I don't want the second job. I don't want to deliver pizzas right now. So why can't we have an option that stops this crazy interest problem? We don't have a spending problem. We have an interest problem. What can we do to stop the insanity of interest? Well, let's talk about it. So I'm going to go through a scenario that I worked with earlier. I'm going to pull up their worksheet here and we're going to talk about exactly what they had going on. And I'm going to use their numbers. So you guys get ready because they have retirement. And because they have retirement from jobs and Social Security, they are doing very, very good compared to the older couple out there that I usually work with in a day. But we're going to talk about this, and we're just going to run through some numbers so that you can see what other people are doing when it comes to debt elimination. So their mortgage is about $224,000. So we're going to put mortgage at $224,000. Okay. And they're going to have an payment of $1,472 per month. Now we have a car loan, and that is a $26,000 balance. And it has a payment of $540. Okay. Now we've got the credit cards. Oh boy. So we've got right at $33,000 in credit card debt. And the total payments are right at exactly what I was thinking. So they're right at $3,600. So these are several credit cards. Their lowest rate is 17.49, with their highest rate at 26.99%. Okay. All right. So what else do we have? I think that might be it. Is that it? Is that it? I think that's it. Okay. So let's add up the total debt. 224,000, 26,000, and then 33,000. So that's $283,000 in total debt. And then their monthly payments is $1,472. So $5,612 is their total monthly payments on this debt. All right, so we have to figure out what they're going to be paying for living expenses, because we have to eat, we have to pay our electric bills, and theirs total $3,979 per month for the gas, the car insurance, the electric bills, the food, all of the stuff that you have to have just to live. So that means their total monthly payments are $9,591. Okay, so now that you see how much they pay out every single month, their income, thank the Lord, is enough to get them through. So they have an income. I'll put that over here. Income is $10,200 per month. Okay. So what happens to this $10,000? That's so much money. I know some of you guys are out there saying, yeah, well, $10,000, you know, they shouldn't be broke. But what do they have? They have $9,591 in expenses every month. The $10,200 means they only have $609 in cash flow per month. So can we work off debt with $609 in cash flow? Sure. Sure, we can slowly work through the debt, or we could use a Money Max. Money Max will help us, you know. But what else could we do that would change everything that's going on in this family's life right now? And they have a medical issues going on top of this, okay? So they maybe go over this expense. They have a lot of things going on in their lives, as you may have. So when I worked with this couple today, I thought, what happens if we take all of this high interest that they're paying and we find another tool at the bank that may reduce the interest and help them to breathe a little bit. So when we ran some numbers and we went through a few things, I'll write it out here for you just so you can see what this looks like. We talked about with them that maybe, just maybe, they could do a first lien because their mortgage is at $224,000, right? But they have it's like the value was right around 500,000. But what I did was I took 400 just so to make sure we have plenty of room to work. So 400,000 for their value of their home. Took that times 85% because they're in a state that allows up to 85%. So let's do the math. 400,000 times 85% is 340,000. So with their credit scores being over 700, they could be approved for $340,000 in a line of credit. Now, remember, the line of credit is revolving. So let's talk about that. The revolving line of credit. Okay. So when it's revolving, that means the income goes in, and then you can pull your expenses back out. Do you remember what I said about the mortgage just now? Remember when I told you that $1,000 payment went into the mortgage, but only $100 actually came off of the balance? Well, what happens when I put $1,000 into this line? I can pull it back out again if I need to. That's revolving. What if I put $100 into this line? I can pull it right back out again. What if I put my whole paycheck of $10,200 into this line? What happens if I have $9,591 that has to come back out of this account? What happens? Then all of the 10,000 went in, but if you remember, the 9551 means I have $609 that's sitting here that I can pull back out again. Even if I'm going to leave the whole 10,000 in here to cover the stuff we currently have, what if I need to buy new shoes for the kids? What if the refrigerator breaks and I have to buy a new one? The line of credit revolves, okay? So because you can put your income in, you can pull it back out if you need it. That makes this line of credit most effective for debt elimination as well. When you put the 100 or the $1,000 into the mortgage, can you just go back in there and pull it back out again? No. We all know that. Once you make a loan payment, it's gone. But once you make a payment into a line, it's available for you to pull it back out again. That's what the beautiful thing is about using a revolving line of credit. So if you look at your banks, call them up, talk to them, drop in. say, hey, could you tell me a little bit about what kind of revolving lines of credit that you have? If you get somebody that knows anything about what they do for their job at the bank, you might get some good answers. But you might, as soon as you ask for that line of credit, I'm not even going to say you might, I'm going to say you will get somebody that says, well, the loan is the better option. You need to go with the loan because it has a lower interest rate. Probably the most aggravating phrase I hear every day. Well, the banker told me that I need to get a loan because the interest rate is lower. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's do the math. Okay, so when you do the math and you understand what the difference is between the amortization schedule and the simple interest product or tool, then you learn that, wait a minute, 8% on a line of credit is less than 3% on a mortgage? What? Yes. Some of you don't know that you don't know. That almost sounded rude, but you may be sitting there thinking, this lady is crazy. What is she talking about? Because we can look at the interest rate and we can tell that a 3% mortgage rate, of course, that's less than an 8% line of credit. Is it? Is it really? Study what the amortization schedule is before you answer that question. We just need to get educated. Okay, so let's go back to where we were talking about what this is going to look like. So I told you that the value of this home for this couple I worked with was $400,000. The loan to value LTV is 85%, meaning that $340,000 should be the available equity in this line now. I mean, in this property. Now, they owe $224,000 on their current mortgage. So we would have to deduct this $224,000 out of the $340,000 available, because they're going to move the mortgage loan into this line. All right. So now the mortgage is gone. The payment is gone because now this balance is in a line of credit. But hold on a minute. They have more money available, right? They've got like 120,000, 116,000 available still after they pay off their mortgage. What happens if they pay off their car too and put it into the line? Well, let's just see. 26,000 to pay off the car. This was the mortgage. What happened to the car payment when they paid off the car loan with the line? Well, it's gone. Are you telling me that they're gaining cash flow by moving the loans into a line? Is that what this looks like to you? Because it does to me. Well, what if they decided to take the credit cards at about 29% and pull them over into this line of credit? Well, let's just see. 33,000 paid off. Okay. So let's add up how much debt they now have in this line of credit, which we already know. is $283,000. So they now have $283,000 in one line. Their credit card debt payment is gone. Their car debt payment is gone. Their mortgage debt payment is gone. So does that mean that they gained $5,612 with one move? Just one? Okay, so if they've gained $5,612, what happens with this line of credit? How do we pay it off, and how quickly do we pay it off? Now, this couple, they had 25 years left to pay on their mortgage. 25 years at 1472. They had 3 years left, I think over 3 years left on the car to pay it off, and God only knows how many decades they had left on the credit cards. Okay, are you all following me? If you've missed something in this video, feel free to go back and watch from the beginning. So now we have $283,000 in debt in a line of credit at the rate today being about 8%. Okay? I know some of you all are screaming on the inside. No, the mortgage was only 3%. Don't do it. I know how some of you naysayers think. It's just math. It's just math. This isn't magic. We're just doing math. And we want to see how long it's going to take us to pay off the $283,000 of the debt that we already had. It was already here. We're already making payments. So what happens when we move it into a line? And now everything is here, and our income is going into the line of credit. Okay, so let's just talk about this. I'm going slow because I don't want everybody to panic if I move too fast. Now, if we take all of their income, and remember it was $10,200, and put it into the new balance. Go with me here, okay? So we paid off this, so I'm going to remove this. We have to keep this because they still have to eat, right? $39.79. This is their food, their gas, their car insurance, their Netflix, their utilities, their everything else, phones, all that fun stuff. So $39.79. So we're going to take $283,000, and we'll start it up here for your balance on 8%. The 10,200 income goes in for month 1. All right, so 283, subtract out 10,200, you're at 272,800. So 272,800. These people are paid monthly, but it doesn't matter if you're paid daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, just throw it back into the line. Okay, now they have to pay for their food, their gas, the electric, all of that stuff we named earlier. So here this is coming out. Now, this is their expenses. This is not going to be one chunk. So out of this $39.79, and I'm just throwing it into the whole monthly, they may do something like go to the grocery store today, spend $100. They might go get gas in their car for, $50. They may go pay Netflix, next week. So this is slowly going to be coming back out throughout the month, but we're going to just show it as one big total. Then we're going to find out how long it's going to take them to pay off the $283,000 compared to the 26-year mortgage they had left. All right. So we're going to add $39.79. That's $276,779. All right, we got to pay interest. I know somebody out there is saying she hasn't added the interest yet. So let's add the interest. So we're going to do the 8%. We're going to take it off of the high balance. They're never going to pay 8% on the high balance because the bank doesn't average daily balance. So it would be between $272,800 and $283,000. But just to show you how this is going to work for them, I'm going to take it off of the high balance. So do it with me. 283,000 times 8%. So I'm going to write it down here right quick. 283 times 8% equals 22,640 for the whole year. Divide that by 12. So divide by 12. That's $1,887, let's say, for 1 month of interest. Okay? So $1,887 for 1 month. So let's add the interest, $1,887 interest for month 1. So 276,779 plus 1,887, 278,666 at the end of month 1. Okay, so wait a minute. Hold on here a second. So I went from 283,000 balance at the first of the month down to 278,666 by the end of the month. And what is that? 278,666. And I paid off $4,334 in debt in 1 month just because I transferred it from the mortgage into this line at 8%. Remember, they only had $609 in cash flow when we first started. But now, just because we got their debt organized into a tool that's going to serve them instead of the bank, I paid off $4,334 in the first month. Okay, so let's keep going. How long is it going to take them to pay this off then at that rate? At the high interest. Let's just talk about month 2, okay? Because we want to talk about how the interest goes down every single month. So month 2, let's do it again. Income goes in 10,200. So this is income in for month 2. Let's do the numbers. So $268,466. All right. Now I'm going to erase this because we're done with this part. There's some things of value that I didn't show you about that first lien, but it doesn't matter because we're talking about debt elimination right now. So $268,466. We have to pay our living expenses every month, so don't forget them. So we're going to have, let's say we have $4,500 in living expenses this month. Let's act like, oh, we had something happen and we had to pay extra out for living expenses. So we're going to increase it from where it was here. I know, Christy, calm down. Christy, calm down. You're making all of this look too easy, because if you're showing they're having more expenses than what they regularly do, you're going to mess up the numbers. No, we're not. So we're adding in the expenses now. So the balance is $272,966. We have to add that dreaded interest in. So let's see what it's going to be. And we're going to take it off of the high being right here, $278,666. Remember, the bank doesn't do that, but we're doing it because we're excited to be alive. So we're going to say month 2 is $1,858 in interest. It's a little lower, but remember, we had higher expenses. So the interest is in. Now let's add that up. 1,858 plus 272,966. So 274,824 is our new balance at the end of month 2. Okay, so that's our balance now. We started with 283. What? We've paid off $8,176 of debt in 2 months. People, these guys only had $609 cash flow when we started, but now all of a sudden they've worked off $8,000. What happens if the refrigerator and the stove broke at the same time and they needed money? What would they do? Oh my gosh, we only have $609 in cash flow. No, we don't. In 2 months, we have paid off $8,000 in debt. And if we need $2,000 to buy the new refrigerator, and then I don't even know how much that stuff costs, but let's just say it's $2,000, $6,176 would still be available in the account. So when the emergency happens, they can go to this fund. Oh, wait a minute. Is that the emergency fund that we're supposed to be sticking in some savings account in the bank? No way. No way. Did I just find an emergency fund? Okay, so let's talk about what it looks like to pay off this debt. Remember, they had 26 years left on their mortgage. How long is it going to take them to pay this debt off? When I am trying to determine what the interest charge is going to be on debt in a revolving line of credit, I take the high interest off of this, which was $1,887. That's the high. That's the highest interest they'll pay the very first month. Notice how it was going down in the second month. So if you're at the very highest on the first payment, then your last payment at payoff would be 0 interest, right? So I divide the high interest by 2 to see what the average interest is going to be throughout the payoff of this line of credit. So $943.50 would be the average interest charged throughout the beginning to the end of this line of credit. From beginning, 283,000 to the 0 balance, okay? So when I am trying to determine how long it's going to take to pay off the line of credit, I divide the interest at the high by 2. This is $943.50. So how long is it going to take them to pay this off? All right, let's just keep running numbers. It's just math. It's just math. All right, so this pen is not working. Okay, so we're going to take the income, 10,000. Well, let me write the interest, the $943.50 for the average interest over here. I'm going to erase this off now. Okay, so they have $10,200 in monthly income. Their living expenses, which I have 4,500, they're showing at 39.79. So let's just say their living expenses have to be paid every month. So we got to take that out, and then we're going to take out the interest. And I'm just going to say the interest is just high. I'm going to leave all kinds of room for error. And I'm going to say, okay, the interest, the average is going to be about $1,200 per month for interest. Okay, so you take 10,200, subtract out the 4,000 expenses that you're going to have to pay, and then the 1,200 in interest, that would be the high. And guess what? $5,000 is going to be your cash flow. All right. So then you would take $283,000, divide it by 5,000. What does that give you? 283 divided by 5,000. Oh my gosh, is that 56.6 months to pay off? 56.6 months to pay off? $283,000 when they only had $609 in cash flow when we first began? Wait, hold on. 56.6. Let's divide that by 12 months. 4.71 years. They're going to be completely out of debt in less than 5 years, but they had 25 years left on their current mortgage. And we have people out there saying that don't go from that 3% mortgage to an 8% line of credit. That's just silly. That's just silly. You need to keep paying that mortgage because that 3% is so much cheaper than that 8%. Is it? Is it? Do you know what happens when they have an emergency? Maybe, 2 years from now, maybe in 3 months, they're going to be able to fall back on this beautiful line of credit. And they're going to be able to pull out the monies that they've let set in here working down the balance, making their interest charges a whole lot less. They're going to be able to reach into this account and say, thank you, Lord. I'm so glad that I had $10,000 available to me because I needed it. Oh my goodness, I lost my job. What am I going to do? Oh, that's okay. I'll just live off of my line of credit until I get my job. Okay? It doesn't get any easier financially when you're using the line of credit and you're using it correctly. It's a game changer. And you know what? I am not getting anything for you guys watching this information right now. Totally on my time. It's 2:24 p.m. Eastern time, and I am not getting paid right now because I'm not sitting working one-on-one with a client. I'm taking time to go over these numbers with you so that you can see that you too can be out of debt very, very quickly. 5 days, not days, years, 5 years, less than 5 years compared to 25 years. There's no comparison. Nobody watching this right now would say, oh yeah, well, let's just go back to the mortgage because, I like that monthly payment. I just like that. And I just feel like I'm really accomplishing great things in the world by giving the bank that monthly payment that they're asking me for. And, I just like thinking I have 25 years left until I got my home free and clear. Oh, yeah, no. Not one of you is sitting there saying that right now. If you are, bless you. What you are saying is, how can I do this? How can I do this? You can do this by finding if you own a home and you're wanting to find out how this is going to look with your numbers, find a first lien lender, an all-in-one lender. For goodness sake, get a basic line of credit and start chunking off your mortgage. You don't have a spending problem. You don't have a spending problem. You have an interest problem. Do you see that when you get rid of the interest or most of it down to 8%, that you're going to get out of debt? Those movies, those vacations that your family wants to take, you're going to have them. You're going to have them. You're going to live financially again. You're going to be excited financially again. You're just in the wrong tool at the bank. You're in the one they want you to be in. That's why when you walk into the bank and you say, hi, I want to see if you have personal lines of credit, they're going to say, you really don't want to do that. They're high. That's high interest. That's an 8%. That's a 12%. Why don't you just go with this little baby one over here? It's a lie. And I'm not saying the people that work in the bank are doing that on purpose. I'm saying they don't know any better either. Just like I didn't know any better, you may not know any better. That's why we're all here together right now, is to get educated and learn the different options that we have for debt elimination. I don't believe that one American, and maybe even in another country, because I have you guys contacting me too, but I don't believe that you're a spender. I don't believe you're a spender like they've made you to believe you are. I don't think it's your fault. I think that if you were not throwing away your money in interest every month, this high interest that they tell us is low, I feel like if you weren't throwing your money into that, you would have plenty of money to do things with your children, to go on the vacations, to buy the brand new tennis shoes, to go to Under Armour and buy something that you have always wanted to have there. These little things. To increase your giving. Your giving is what makes or breaks you. But it's not because you're a spender. It's not because you're a spender. It's because you were led, just like the rest of us, into the life of loans. When I watched what was happening around the high schools here in my area, just the last month since graduations have been about to occur, and I saw the banks going in to the senior class, I was almost horrified, because I cannot believe that we set our children up before they graduate from high school and teach them about student loans. I know, right? The student loan. If you have a student loan right now that is suffocating to you, welcome to America. Most of the people I work with have ridiculous student loans, with the lie that, oh, we're probably going to forgive them. We're probably going to forgive them. Just hold on. Just hold on. We're going to get around to you, while they put you in forbearance. And I don't know if most of you have realized or not with that, but a lot of you are getting the interest charged still on the loans that are sitting there that you're not making payments on, kind of like that EIDL was that the government so graciously gave us for the 2020 pandemic. Remember that beautiful thing? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, government. You gave us an EIDL. We will be forever grateful. What? What? If you have any common sense and you got the EIDL at the baby 3% and the baby little payment that did not start until a year later, what do you think happened with your loan, your EIDL loan that you got for that whole year that you weren't making payments? Have you looked at it? Have you looked at the balance if you're a business owner? Did you maybe, just maybe think, I almost said a bad word. Oh crap. My balance is growing. Have you looked at your student loan that you've not been paying on? Because they're so good to give you a break. They're giving you a break. They love you. They want to help you by not making monthly payments. Have you looked at the balance? Do you not see that they are piling the interest on these loans? And do you know that most of the time, the little baby payment that you do start making after they were so dang kind to you, did you notice that that payment is not even covering the interest that they're charging you every month? I'm telling you, people, we got to wake up. We got to wake up. And the Lord is so good that He has given us wisdom. It feels like from above. It was so beautiful for my life. I thank you, Lord, that you brought that into my life when I learned about velocity banking. When I learned about what MoneyMax can do for you guys that cannot get any kind of lines of credit, what the infinite banking does, thank you, because it has changed my life and it will change yours when you understand the difference between the tools at the bank. I am just here to teach you what the tools do. I'm not a magician. This 56.6 months, which is under 5 years, was not some magical potion that I threw together here. And we went from 25 years to 5 years. Not magic, people. It's how to use the tools at the bank. What is serving you? What is your money being used for? And how is it changing your debt balances? How is it affecting the interest that you're paying? That's what you have to be looking at, is how is that tool serving you? You get out and you work every single day. And some of you work dang hard. And some of you work a lot of hours. And just because you're a ditch digger out here, maybe for the city, putting in the plumbing lines, or you're an anesthesiologist making the best money you can make in America, you're all still broke. We're all still broke. Why? Why are we broke? Is it because you only make $2,000 a month? No. Mr. Anesthesiologist over here making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year. He's as broke as you are. Why? Because you are using the same tools at the bank. You just may have bigger loans. Do you know what a doctor's student loans are? Yeah, I worked with one last week and they had over $300,000 in student loans. But guess what? He had been out of school for 16 years. 16 years. So for all the bright minds out there that say, oh, I'm going to go to school and, I'm going to go get a bunch of student loans, but it's okay. I'm going to make lots of money and I'm just going to make so much money that I'll just come in and pay off that student loan and everything's beautiful. Every week I work with professionals that are, $100,000 easy in student loans every week that I see. And you're talking about the doctors, the lawyers, all of the people that make great money, but they still have these loans hanging over them where they can't breathe because they're suffocating in debt. All I'm saying is, please learn how to use the lines of credit. and get excited. Get excited about your life again. Get excited about those vacations. Oh my gosh. You know, I've learned I don't even like vacations sometimes. It depends on where I go. But it's like I I am so fulfilled with doing what I do that I really have to force myself to take a vacation. But guess what? I can afford to take a vacation. And is it because of VANNtastic and all of the great money that VANNtastic has brought? Absolutely not. I was taking the vacations before VANNtastic. Do you know why I'm able to financially do most things that I want to do? Because I learned how to use the bank, oh, I don't know, about 15 years ago. And I'm sorry that I waited so many years to bring this to you. But I just thought that I was the only one that didn't know. I mean, I knew that what I had learned was amazing, and I saw how it turned my life around, and I was able to give like I've never given before. And I was able to do all those things I wanted to do with my kids. But bringing it to you guys was Alex Alberin. He literally said to me, "You've got to go on YouTube with this." And I am like, no, nobody wants to hear me talk about banking. And he's like, yeah, they do. They want to hear about this. So here we are. And I'm telling you, you guys, you are going to live your best life because you just know how to use the bank. You are not broke. Bless you. You're not stupid because you wanted a home. You're not stupid because you wanted a nice car. You're not stupid because you wanted the big screen TV in your house, the nice leather furniture. You're not stupid because you wanted to take your family to New York City or to Florida, Orlando, whatever it is you love to do. That's not stupid. That's called living while we're alive. Let's live while we're alive. And stop letting the banks take advantage of the income that we are working so hard for every single day. Do you know what it used to feel like for me when I was a single parent? And I thought, Lord, I can't miss one day. I can't miss one day of work. If my kids are sick, I can't leave to go get them. I can't leave to sit at home with them because I'm going to miss a day of pay. And then, I have this bill coming due next week on the very day that I get paid, or maybe the day before. I was late. Oh my gosh, I got a late fee, but I cannot miss this day because if I do, I'm not going to have any money left over because I have to pay my bills. Do you know how I lived in that I was never able to take a day off and miss pay because how was I going to afford my month? And I always had more month than money. But then I learned that it's just about the way I was using the bank, that I had more than enough. I had more than enough. And you do too. You do too. You have just got to figure it out. And I hope you do. So keep watching videos. That's why I have so many videos, is because each video has a different scenario. They are free. I just heard the spirit come through the camera that said, oh, she's doing this because she's making a lot of money. This is free for you to watch. You don't have to pay me a dime. I want you to go get free. And there's enough videos on this YouTube channel to show you how to do that. Okay? So stop waiting for a handout from the government. For goodness sake, pull yourself together. Realize you don't need anybody to come in and hand you a check. I'm sure you make plenty of money without waiting for that tax return or waiting for the child tax credit, or what else do they claim they give us? Take responsibility for your life, for your finances, get educated, and for goodness sake, get your finances in order. You are going to be so happy when you realize that you have been suffering for nothing and now you know the way out. Okay? So I want you guys to get excited. Don't make me. Don't make me. I will pull out the 80s dancing. But I want everyone to understand that you can be free if you're using the right tools at the bank. Okay, I'm going to answer a couple of questions and then I'm going to jump off of here. I have not eaten lunch yet. It has been a busy day. Oh, I'm so glad, Jeffrey. Jeffrey says that he is debt-free thanks to VANNtastic. It is my pleasure to share. Thank the Lord. Let's see here. A good bank to do the first lien HELOC. Okay, I can put that in the chat if you need a first lien lender. I'm telling you, you can probably find them anywhere and everywhere. It's just that I have certain lenders that I have learned work well with what I do. So I am going to put the first lien lender in here. Somebody had a question about the EIDL. Bless you if you have one, because it's growing. You're welcome, Steve. Thank you. Thank you. The EIDL, you're going to have to start either moving it into a line of credit if you have a first lien, if you have a HELOC, if you have a line of credit that you can start chunking down, you know, that debt, every debt, then start doing it, for goodness sake. Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful concept. Does debt consolidation affect your credit score? Jay, I haven't talked one thing about debt consolidation. I have talked about moving loans into a line. If you call that debt consolidation, okay. I call it beautiful. Welcome to my world. Lovely. But I don't even, the credit scores, people, are another setup. Once you get into a line, it doesn't matter what your credit score does, which from experience is going to go up. Everything that you do in a line of credit, in any kind of loan, anything, whether you pay it off or whether you get a new one, it's going to dump your credit score for a minute. This right here, do you think that them going down $4,000 a month in their debt is going to hurt their credit score? No, it's going to increase their credit score, right? So the only time you need a credit score is if you're going to the bank to get a tool. Once you're in the tool, guess what? it's going to start increasing because you're going to be eliminating debt. Your income and your cash flow is going to go up and you're going to be eliminating debt. So of course, your credit score is going to do so good. So good. Let's see. Does it make sense to do velocity banking using a credit card and the Money Max together? You can. You can. The Money Max is an interest eliminator, so you can use lines of credit. The Money Max, a whole different subject we're not going to go into here, but as the Money Max is eliminating the interest you're paying, the line of credit can be eliminating monthly payments into the line from a loan. So now you're taking away the monthly payment a loan has, you're putting it into the line. Once your income goes into the line, it has satisfied the monthly payment due on this line of credit. So it's really freeing to not have to make a payment. Your income going in is making the payment in the line, okay? Dylan, you're going to have to adult up. If you're afraid that you're going to spend so much that you charge your credit cards back up, then you're going to have to adult. You're going to have to say, hey, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm an adult here. I don't have to buy everything I see. Once you have an idea on what your monthly expenses are, and remember, I jacked it up here because some months your expenses are going to be higher than others. Some months are going to be lower than others. But if you're out and you can't stop swiping your card because you think, oh, wait, I've got $4,000 in this. Let me see what I can go buy. No, that's not the way an adult thinks. An adult thinks, hey, I've got what I need. You know, I even went out to a restaurant this week when I was planning on eating at home. You know, I spent $100. I decided to, I don't even know, did you decide to party all night Friday night and you shouldn't have? You know, and it cost you an extra $200. Okay. Okay. But guess what? You have the line of credit and you'll do better next month. But adult up. Don't be just thinking, oh, I've got $4,000 available. Let me see if I can go find $4,000 worth of clothes to buy. I mean, no. Just saying, you're going to be so free when you realize that you've learned how to use a line of credit, that the spending, you'll get frugal on your own. You'll get frugal on your own. You're not going to have to be stressing out about, oh, wait, I need to, you know, oh, I spent an extra $1 there. I shouldn't have done that. We don't want to do that no more, okay? We don't want to do that. I started this about 15 years ago. You can do this for a car. You can do this for anything. I am so glad, Sarah, you're free. I am so happy. I'm so happy. People are getting debt free. My throat's going out, so I'm going to have to end this, but I hope that you guys are learning. I hope that you keep watching videos so that you can see that there is no better way to live financially and to have the things that you need and you want. I'm telling you, it is beautiful. So when I started, I was a single mom, two daughters at the time, ended up with 3 daughters. Thank the Lord. And, you know, the point being that after I learned about velocity banking, we were able to do a New York City vacation that I could not believe, they could not believe. We still talk about that first vacation we ever got to have that was a real vacation. We did every show we wanted to do there on Broadway. We went to the finest restaurants we wanted to eat at, and I was a single parent. Some of you guys are sitting there, single parents, and you're like, well, I don't know how she did it with 3 kids. If I did it, you can do it too. Let's see. You unlocked my last key I needed. Thank you so much for allowing Jesus's calling into your life. I'm very excited to do it. This is going to be recorded on YouTube, so I'm assuming you can just go back and watch the live stream. So yes. Let's see, we got any more questions before I run? You're welcome, Tony. Thank you. Oh, Frank and Cicely. Hello, hello. CMG this week, first run on numbers will cut the 13 years left on my mortgage down to 5, almost 40,000 saved in interest. Excited to get started. I am excited for you. Oh my goodness. You don't have HELOCs in UK, but I think you have the offset account. Check into that. I've heard that's really good to use for this. In the process of getting a helicopter with, I think you meant a HELOC, not a helicopter with your current mortgage broker, but did you say this is a bad idea to go with a separate bank? Are you really buying a helicopter? That is super awesome. Yeah, not the mortgage broker. I mean, check into the HELOC if you want to do velocity banking. If you don't do it. Okay. July, I think that's it. I put the lender that I have in the chat, so you're welcome to check with them. They're very good at the first lien. The balance is a balloon. That too can be moved into the line. You have to check with that first lien lender about that. Let's see here. Do we have any more? Hello from Canada. I have a question. Okay. All right. I am so glad that you guys are finding freedom. Oh my goodness, so many comments on getting free. Looks like the only option for me is the HELOC. It looks like the only option for me is a... Okay. I don't even know what that means. Yes, we have lenders that do HELOCs on rentals. Yes. Aloha, Christy. Love your channel. You're such a blessing. Any first lien lenders in Honolulu, Hawaii? Yes, wait, let me put that lender in here. They do rentals and Hawaii and Texas. So I know we have sometimes Texans that are interested in the first lien, and it is very hard to get one in Maryland and Texas, but this lender does work in Texas and Hawaii and Alaska and all over the states, except New York. There's a lot of people that it's kind of tough in New York, but you can ask them questions. So I put that in the chat there. Does the lender do financing for international properties? I do not think so. I'm sorry. I don't have that answer, but I don't think so. I do not have lenders in Canada. Totally different, different nation there. So I only deal with the US banking system. What company am I with? I am not with a company. I am Christy VANN, owner and founder of VANNtastic. You have to go to the bank, Deborah. And if you keep watching videos, you will understand more about that. Okay? All right, I am going to jump off of here. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. I want you to stay encouraged. If you are just now learning about velocity banking, stay in it. stay in it to win it. Oh my gosh. And it is an exciting journey. I want you all to be a part of. You know what? Look at your giving too. If you want to know who your God is, look at your checkbook. Okay? I know, I'm going to say that again. If you want to know who your God is, look at your checkbook. Okay? I know that was deep, but it's the truth. So when you increase your giving so that it is beating out that God you're paying, I know people that their house is their God because that's where all their money goes. I know people that their cars are the gods, are your God, is your God. I'm trying to get this right. I am from Tennessee, remember? So are you putting out too much money on things that don't even matter? Or are you taking care of business, getting everything in order, getting excited about your giving, getting excited about, being the tither? It's important. Your giving as important as the tools at the bank. And I know a lot of you guys don't want to hear that. I'm not talking to you if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in heaven, hell. Maybe this conversation is not for you, but I am a believer, and I do know that I have asked and I have received over and over and over and over and over again. So if you're having a hard time with anything, whether that be relationships, whether that be money, ask for what you want. Ask. He says, if you being evil know how to do good for your children, then how much better can I do for mine? And so when you ask, you receive. Okay? You have to ask with good motives. We don't want to ask for things that's going to hurt other people, of course. But I always ask for an increase because I know that with my increase, I'm going to be giving more. By the way, the cruise, guys, we're giving away the cruise on June 1st. I'm going to put that link in the chat as well here on YouTube. It will also be under the video if you want to go there and enter to win. I could not be any more excited about giving you all a free vacation. Okay, so the cruise, I'm putting it in here. This is VANNtastic. You know it is. Enter to win. Oh my gosh, I put wind. That's so funny. Okay, so I'm putting the link to enter to win in the YouTube chat. You can go there. Enter to win a cruise for 2. I know it. I know it. It's so exciting. Yes, God is my silent partner too. Oh my goodness, if you knew the things that I have seen him do in my life. If you don't believe, I'm sorry. I do. I'm a believer. I'm super excited about what God can do with your life, what he can do with your giving. For goodness. Congratulations, Joy Smiles. She said she started today. The cruise link is in the chat. It's going to be given out on June 1st to one person and their lucky spouse. You can go. You can have a good vacation. I think it's 3 nights on a Norwegian cruise, I believe. I'm so excited. I'm excited to give it away. I hope you're excited about finding out more about that. Like I said, if you're on TikTok and you go over to the YouTube channel, the link is going to be underneath the video or in the description. So you're welcome to enter to win as well there. You do have to be a YouTube subscriber to enter to win. Okay. All right. So why would a bank say no to me for a line of credit? It could be your DTI is too high. It could be your credit score is too low. It could be that you can't verify your income. There's all kinds of different things there that could affect that. I don't think I've ever been told no, and I've had very low credit scores. I had to build my way up when I first started, so you may have to build your way up as well. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you so much. The Oklahoma lender, yes, I put that link in the chat. I can put it in there one more time before I sign off here. Make sure you get it. Maybe if I can remember where I put it. Okay, I'll put that lender in the chat one more time for Oklahoma. And I am going to jump off of here and get my day started with my fam. I'm going to be out of the office for about 9 days. Take a break myself, and I don't want to take a break. It's just something that I had a family member plan, and so we're going to go do it. And I'm excited too, but at the same time, I also love what I do, and I'm excited to be here with you guys, helping you out as well. So I want you to plan on having, wait, do you have your vacation planned? If not, to get your finances in order and go charge it. Does anybody remember Fred Flintstone and Wilma when her and Betty wanted to buy something and they didn't know what to do? They threw their credit card up in the air and they said, charge it. Well, I am a huge fan of using the credit card. I know somebody out there saying, cut up the credit cards, you sinner. And I'm like, no way, you couldn't pay me enough money to cut up my credit cards. I love them all. So come my way. It's a beautiful journey. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope that you really learn all of the fun things that you can do with lines of credit, because it is so much fun. It's so much fun to be in control. And I want you to be in control so you can get out of the rat race. Okay, guys? All right, I'm going to go. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will